Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to the full guide for Armor King. Armor King's been out for a few days. It's given me a chance to take a look at the character in depth, write some notes down, and give you guys a full guide for the character. This guide will cover everything from punishes, to pressure, to pokes, to lows, to throw game, to Oki game. Get strapped in, there's a lot to go over. If you do like the video, please do me a favor and leave a like and a comment. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new here and you want to find your way back, hit the subscribe button down below. With that being said, with all that plugging out of the way, let's get on with the full guide. So first off, we're going to talk about Armor King's strengths and weaknesses. So first off, his strengths. He's very strong at Whiff Punishment. Dark Upper, for example, being a classic Whiff Punish for Armor King. Extremely long range. Is only -10 on block. Extremely good Whiff Punish tool, along with back 3, which covers a lot of distance. And also down back 2 has very generous range. And back 1-2, you can see the range there is very good. And that leads me on to block punishment. Back 1-2 gives you a very juicy punish, very long range. It is only -12. It goes to bad Jaguar stance at +8. So it's very good. 2-1, your classic 10 frame punish. Up forward 2-1 for a 15 frame launch. These used to be sidestep 2-1 in Tekken 7, but they've changed it now to up forward 2-1. And so instead of using the hop kick, which has notoriously bad range, now you'll use up forward 2-1 as your 15 frame block punish. While standing 3-1, he got a buff with his 13 frame while standing punish. In Tekken 7, you just use while standing 4 for a 13 frame punish. In this game, with very decent range, you now have while standing 3-1, which is also a heat engager. Counter hit utility is off the charts with this character. Forward 2 counter hit launcher. Sidestep 4 counter hit launcher. Up forward 3 counter hit launcher. Down forward 3 counter hit launcher. Would you believe me if I told you that all of these are mids and safe? He is very safe with his counter hit utility. Obviously, we can talk about throws. Giant swing, for example. Shining Wizard, for example. Tombstone. And he also has ground throw utility as well. So a very strong throw game. He has some really big swings for plus frames. This is also a counter hit launcher, by the way. So there is something to be said there for having a +4 mid that is a counter hit launcher as well. Up back 1 is also +5 on block, homing high. So big swings deal very good pressure, plus frames. We can talk about while running 3. Talk about forward 3. Another good homing move at +2. Forward 4. These are all quite slow, but they're also very good tools to have. It gives you a frame trap with throws and whatnot. So it is super good. Oki is also very good. I'm just going to show you something you can do at the wall. I didn't get it, but in some specific circumstances, when the stars align, you can actually resplat them on the wall there and get a full combo again. It's kind of insane. So yeah, his Oki game is exceptionally good. Obviously, I talked about ground throws before. Really good Oki game as well. And we can talk about Stomp with down 4-4, 3+4. Weaknesses. He has quite a complex game plan. You got to use a lot of different moves with this character to make him work. You can't just rely on a couple of different things to take you all the way. You have to utilize his throws. You do have to utilize the Oki with the Stomp and the shoulder. Forward 1+4. You have to be able to position your opponent to get counter hit with forward 2 while standing 2. So there is a little bit of complexity to his game plan, which can make it a little bit difficult to play around your opponent. Also, he doesn't have many panic moves, many panic buttons, not like Feng's back 1, for example. Law's 1-1-1. He doesn't really have much of that. He does have a little bit of it, but not much. There is some heavy execution stuff with the character. It's not really a weakness, but it's a difficulty thing for a lot of players. They don't have the best execution. This might scare players from playing Armor King. Giant swing, for example, quite heavy execution. We can talk about Tombstone with down, back, neutral, forward 2+4. Obviously, we can talk about the crouch dash inputs as well. CD1 for Shadow Lariat. Dark Upper, for example. Some of this can be quite heavy execution. Of course, he has a wave dash as well. So there is some execution heavy stuff with the character. It can be quite difficult to condition people to stand still when you're trying to throw them. Obviously, these throws can be stepped. Unless he is in heat, and then it's your time to play, man. When he's in heat, he's a much better character, believe me. He is very weak to sidestep, so a lot of those safe mid counter hit tools that I showed you, most of those counter hit tools are very, very weak to sidestep. You know, forward 2, up forward 1, down forward 3, up forward 3. Also, probably one of the most important things as a weakness to Armor King is his down forward 1 does not track to either side. In this game, it basically has no tracking. So down forward 1, because it has an extension, it's not as bad, but it's going to be very difficult to lock your opponent down when they can sidestep even your down forward 1. So that's the strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to move on to the nitty gritty, the meat and potatoes of this guide. Also, I'm going to try and go through this quickly while giving you all the necessary information that you need to play the character. So you will get all the information. It will just be coming at a quick rate because there is a lot to cover in this video. There is a very decent amount with the character that you need to know. So starting off with punishes, standing punish, 10 frame, 2-1. Pretty decent, just like King's. For 12 frames, he has back 1-2. Notice the range in back 1-2 is very generous. If he holds forward here, he can go into bad Jaguar stance. Don't worry, we'll cover that stance later on. And also, if the second hit counter hits, 2-1 is guaranteed here. For 13 frames, he has forward 1+4. Note the range of this. This is an excellent whiff punish. Note that the shoulder is also -19, so be careful of that. 4-3 is also a 13 frame punish, but it is a high, so if you fail it, you are at risk of getting launched here. For 14 frames, he has down back 2-3. He also has another extension with down back 2-4, but it can be ducked if you fail it. This one is mid-mid, the down back 2-3, but it is -12. For 15 frames, your standard 15 frame punish will be up forward 2-1. It's got much better range than the hop kick, although you can use this as a block punish. Just be aware that the range sucks. Also, if you have good execution, you can do a dark upper for a 15 frame punish, although it isn't really necessary because you have up forward 2-1. This is mid-mid and -13 on block. For while standing punishment, we have 11 frame while standing 4. Pretty generic. We have a 12 frame punish while standing 2, although you won't want to be using this as a punish. You'll still want to be using while standing 4 as a 12 frame punish. For 13 frames, he gets his new 13 frame while standing punish. He gets while standing 3-1. This is also a heat engager. And then for 15 frames, you can either do up forward 2-1 from crouch, or you can do while standing 1. Now, up forward 2-1 is -13. While standing 1 is -12. So take your pick there on which one you want to use in specific situations, but I would stick with while standing 1 for a safer while standing 15 frame punish. Heat engages. He has forward 2-1, just like King. Mid-high, but it is safe at -9. He has forward 4. This is a whiff punish as well. A 14 frame startup, so it's not bad. It is also safe mid at -8. While standing 3-1, like we just discussed, -13 though, it is mid-mid, but it's -13. Bad Jaguar. We will cover the stance later, but for all intents and purposes, to cover the heat engagers now. Bad Jaguar 1-2 is a heat engager. High mid. And then the last heat engager we're going to cover is a crouch throw. So down 2+4 or down back 2+4, whichever input you prefer, will give you the crouch throw, and this is a heat engager. Now moving on to moves you're going to be using in the neutral. That includes whiff punishes, pokes, lows, and counter hits, and all of that stuff. First off is Power Crush. It's forward 1+2. Let's get out of the way. It is -12. If this hits the opponent and you hold forward, you will go into Bad Jaguar at +26 for a BAD mix, where you can do throws, lows, mids, and power crushes. And this, which is much more useful and quicker in heat. He has some cheesy stuff, which I'll just cover quickly because I know people like using 3+4 because it's kind of quirky and cool. You can do 3+4, 3+4, 3+4, 3+4, and then hold it. Unbreakable throw. So I know people like using that. You can do 3+4, 1. You can do 3+4, 2. You can do 3+4, 1+2. But to be honest, this stuff is kind of fake. I would stay away from it unless you're kind of trolling or you're very, very confident and you have some specific setup. I'm sure you could be creative with 3+4, but for the most part, I would stay away from it. For whiff punishes, we're going to cover whiff punishes quite early in this. Down back 2-4 is mid-high, -5, and down back 2-3 is the mix-up. It is mid-mid at -12. Very, very good range for both of these. Back 1-2, we discussed before. If you hold forward, this will go into Bad Jaguar at +8 on hit. 4-2-1, just like King. Excellent whiff punish. You can arguably hit confirm this as well. Very, very decent Whiff Punish, and it's a heat engager, so it's super, super good. Back 3 is definitely one of the better Whiff Punishes that he has, because this leads to a full combo on normal hit with some very respectable damage. It is a high though, and it is -12. Forward 1+4, the shoulder, very good range, but be careful, it is -19. Forward 4 is another great Whiff Punisher. It is also safe at -8 like we discussed earlier. And then the last, but probably most important Whiff Punisher you're going to be using is CD2. This is forward, neutral, down, down forward 2. Just like this. You can also use this from a crouch dash, of course. It's a normal hit launcher, dark upper. It's also only -10. So it's super, super good. You can do stuff like sidestep into dark upper. It's like if you play a Mishima and you're doing sidestep electrics. This is very similar to using a Mishima and doing sidestep electric. Although this is -10. Moving on to pokes, we have back 4. Back 4 is +2 on hit, -9 on block. If you press 1+2 here, it will transition into a throw for 35 damage. We also have 3-4. This is a natural, high mid. It is also safe. It has really decent range as well. This also has an extension with 3-4-1. But be careful because the last hit is -13. Up back 1+2 and is evasive move that Armor King has, guaranteeing a forward 1+4 shoulder after it hits. Doesn't do anything on counter hit, but the shoulder is very nice for 46 damage. It is -14, so be aware of that. Down 2 is a very good move. -5 on block, +5 on hit, part of a string, although you don't want to do that second hit really. And also, on counter hit, this guarantees while standing 3-1, which is super good. Forward 4, linear, but it's +3 on block, which means that you can frame trap giant swing and other throws that Armor King has, like Tombstone, for example. On counter hit, this guarantees a crouch throw with down back 1+3 or down back 2+4. Next we have back 1+2, just like King's forward neutral 1+2. This is +4 on normal hit, neutral on block, and on counter hit, just like King, this guarantees forward 2-1. Next we have one of the most important strings that Armor King has, which is back 2-1-2. Now this is not a natural and it's -7 and the last hit is a high. However, it's a counter hit confirmable string that at the wall splats into very high damage. 75 damage, very, very good. Down forward 1, obviously we're not going to do a poking section without having down forward 1 here. Down forward 1 is decent at -3. Be aware that people will be able to step this very easily, so try and move around and try and realign with people when you're using the down forward 1. It does also have an extension with down forward 1-2, which is -6, but the extension is a high and they can duck. On counter hit, this is very delayable and confirmable. And if the second hit counter hits, you get a crouch throw guaranteed here. Down forward 2-1, mid-high, neutral on block, and if you hold forward, you can actually go into bad Jaguar here. Be careful though, because they can just duck the high. However, if the first down forward 2 counter hits, you get a full launch. If the extension counter hits, you get a guaranteed 2-1. And for some reason, I forgot to mention 1-2-1. This is a very good mix-up. 1-2, 1-2, 1, 1-2, 1. The counter hit here at the end, if the last hit counter hits, you get a guaranteed 2-1 of that as well, which is super nice. Also, with 1-2-1, you can do 1-2-1 hold forward, and he will cancel the last hit. Note that it's -19, but don't forget about this move because we're going to cover it again when he's in heat. And this is where it actually becomes useful, or not just completely trash. Down 1-4 is one of your few panic buttons. It is just like King's down 1-2. It high crushes, and on counter hit, the whole thing is guaranteed. This is -10, as you'd expect as well, though. Forward 3-2-1 is a mid string. The last hit, if it counter hits, gives you a full combo. However, the last hit is -13. What you can do, though, is you can do forward 3-2 into down forward, and this will go into Armor King's beast step or his crouch dash. From here, you can do while standing moves and crouch dash moves as well. So that means Shadow Lariat, Dark Upper, you can do CD4, you can even do this cheeky unblockable that's a high, This will catch some people, especially if they've never played Tekken 7. So you might want to just use it just to test them to see if they'll actually duck that. Now the thing is about forward 3-2 down forward is on block. This is -1. If he doesn't go into B step, it's -11. -1 means that we can mix up our opponent because they're not sure if we're going to do the last hit or not. Remember, there's this third extension here. If this counter hits, we get a full combo, right? So they're going to be scared to press back here, meaning we can do stuff like this for more pressure. We can do this for a safe mid option if we think they're going to try and duck Lariat. We can do while standing 3. While standing 3-1. If you're in heat, you might want to heat dash out of this for more plus frames. So there's a lot we can actually do from this string. And that leads me on, talking about B step, to crouch dash with Armor King. Wave dashing. You can wave dash with this character. And you have a few different moves that I want to talk about. So first up, we've already talked about Dark Upper. CD2. You can also do CD1, which is a Lariat. This guarantees a stomp follow-up if this connects. The stomp is down 4-4, 3+4 for a new animation. If they block Lariat, it is +5. Remember that it is a high and they can duck this. CD3, we've already talked about. CD4 is a safe mid that knocks down on normal hit for a guaranteed shoulder. On counter hit, lastly, on the poke section, we're going to talk about CD1+2 very quickly. Now, CD1+2 gives you Poison Mist. This isn't unblockable, meaning you can do any throw that comes out below 23 frames. The reason we're not really going to cover this much in the guide, or this specific one in the guide, is because it comes out so slowly. It comes out at 35 frames, giving you more than enough time to react to this and duck it. Where it becomes useful, and we'll talk about this later, is in heat, where it comes out at 25 frames, 10 frames quicker. There is actually utility to use this in heat, but not so much outside of heat. That covers pokes. I'm going to talk about counter hit launchers now. So, counter hit launchers. First off, we talked about 4-3 in the Punishes section. It is high, but it leaves you neutral on block. This comes out at 13 frames though, and it is actually a counter hit launcher. So if you want something quick to use as a counter hit launcher, you can use this. Just be aware that it's high. Next up, we have up forward 3. This is -8 mid. Also a full counter hit launcher. Next up, we have while standing 2, one of his best counter hit moves. -9, 12 frames. And on counter hit, a full launcher. Sidestep 4, knocks down on normal hit. -8 on block. And yes, it is a counter hit launcher. Fully a counter hit launcher. Forward 2, really long range counter hit launcher. Note that it's safe at -6. And you can crouch dash into it to cover more distance. And then use it basically like a demon pull. But this counter hit launches, so it's actually better than a demon pull. Down forward 3, not to be confused with up forward 3. This is -5 on block and +5 on hit. Also a full counter hit launcher. Up forward 1, +4 on block, mid, counter hit launcher. And then the last one is down back 3. Note that this is -26 on block, so use this very carefully or sparingly if you're going to use this. But it does counter hit launch for a tornado launch. For very respectable damage. It is also +6 on hit and is a homing low, so it will track sidesteps. And just very quickly, those counter hits are very susceptible to sidesteps. Try and use them in the correct situation, not when your opponent is looking to sidestep you. I will say that while standing 2 does track to both sides though, so it means that you can do this into this and this frame traps. I'll talk about that very soon, the sidestep 2 frame trap with while standing 2. Plus frames, we've already talked about up forward 1, this counter hit launches. Up back 1 looks quite similar animation wise, so it might confuse your opponent, but this is +5 on block, it's high and it's homing. On normal hit, this knocks down for a guaranteed forward 1+4, and on counter hit, this does the same thing. CD1 we've already talked about, +5 on block. On hit, this gives you a guaranteed stomp. While running 3, just a generic while running 3 at +6. Up 1+2, capital punishment is +2 on block. It's also a normal hit launcher. For a full launch, forward 3 is a high that's homing and +2. Meaning you can frame trap giant swing with this, which is super good. You can also frame trap tombstone as well. Bad Jaguar 1+2 is +5 on block. Don't worry, we will go over Bad Jaguar later, but I'm just throwing this in there now under the plus frame moves for this character. +5 on block, also on counter hit. This is a full counter hit launcher, and on normal hits, this guarantees a crouch throw as well. Super good. Quite slow, but it's super good. And then last but not least, we have while running 3+4. Just like King's while running 3+4, this is very, very plus. It leaves the opponent in a 50-50 where you do a toe poke or a get up kick. Not much else you can actually do there from the ground, but you get the idea, right? Next, we're going to move on to his lows. He has a few good lows. He has down 3, which is +2 on hit, -12 on block, bad range, but on counter hit, this gives you +9, which is very decent. Down 4 is decent, although it's -15 on block. It does track to both sides, which is nice. It also does absolute garbage damage, but it's fast at 14 frames, so you can use this as a round ender. It is a decent low to have. Sidestep 2 is a new low that he has. +3 on normal hit, +6 on counter hit. This is very good as a frame trap for while standing 2, because you remember that while standing 2 is 12 frames, right? So if they press after this, they're being cheeky and they press, they're going to get fully launched. Forward, neutral 2. This is your key low that you're going to be using with Armor King. +5 on normal hits, but if you hold forward, you're +8 into Bad Jaguar stance. From here, you can do a lot of different things because you're so plus, just like with back 1-2, which we'll talk about later, don't worry. But there's a lot of different things you can do from Bad Jaguar, so it's worth going into this stance quite often when you do forward, neutral 2. If forward, neutral 2 counter hits, you get a guaranteed 2-1. If you hold forward when it counter hits, you get a guaranteed 1-2 in Bad Jaguar stance. We also have down back 3, which we've already talked about, so I'm not going to talk about it here. And we also have, last but not least, we have down 3+4. Now this is -2 on hit, -16 on block, and it's not a natural for the follow-up there with the low mid, and that is -15. However, on counter hit, this is neutral, and you can hit confirm the second hit. So there is some utility to be used there. Just be very, very careful about using it too often. Now for the homing, we have back 3+4. A pretty average homing move. It's mid, it's safe at -9. It's decent, but it doesn't do anything crazy on counter hit. It just knocks down. We have up back 1, a homing high, which we've talked about before. +5 on block, knocks down for a guaranteed shoulder. We have forward 3, just knocks down. On counter hit, it doesn't do anything special either. On block, it is +2. So it is a decent homing to have because it's faster than the others at 17 frames. So this can lock people down a lot better than this. Or this. Now moving on to Bad Jaguar stance. Now you can go into Bad Jaguar by doing forward 3+4. And he will go into this stance, and there is a lot of different things you can do from this stance. He has a lot of different things. He has a high mid, he has mid-mids, he has power crush, he has a low, he can do grabs, he can do the mist, unblockable. There's a lot that he can do. We're going to cover it all, so don't worry. But I want to talk about the ways you can get into Bad Jaguar first. First off, you can go into Bad Jaguar from a few different ways. You can go in from 1-2-1, hold forward, and it will cancel the third hit. That is -19 to 21, so do be very, very careful about using this outside of heat. It becomes much better in heat. Down forward 2-1, if you hold forward here, he will go into Bad Jaguar. On hit, this is decent at +8. On block, they can duck the high there, or they'll be neutral when you go into Bad Jaguar stance here. Back 1-2, only go into Bad Jaguar here when you're doing it as a punish, because you'll always be +8. So if you're block punishing something at -12, if you're whiff punishing something, I actually missed that. If you're whiff punishing something at -12, go into this. Otherwise, don't go into this. I mean, you're going to get punished anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then forward, neutral 2. It's really worth going into Bad Jaguar here more often than not, because it has some good options. You get a mix-up for a low. If you want to play it safe and not throw a 50-50 at your opponent, you can go for a grab, go for a mid-high. There's a lot of different stuff you can do, but forward, neutral 2 is a very good transition into Bad Jaguar stance. So now I'm going to talk about what you can actually do in Bad Jaguar stance. There's a lot of different options that you actually have. So first off, he can do 1-2, which is a mid-high. If he only does 1, it's a high, but it's +1 on block. If you follow up with a mid here, you're at -12, so be careful about that. If you don't want to go for a mid-mid, but you still want to start with the 1 option, you can do 1-4 out of Bad Jaguar. This will also put you in Backturned. I will talk about Backturned a bit later on as well. There's a couple of things you'll want to know about Backturned later on, like this low. Next, we have 2-4. This is very, very easily hit confirmable. So if you do 2-4 from Bad Jaguar, you will get this throw transition. It does 47 damage, respectable damage. It is -12, so be careful. If they don't press here, you can do the 3 option afterwards. If you do Bad Jaguar 2-3, it will do a safer option, although it can be ducked because the extension here is a high. So Bad Jaguar 2-3 can be ducked, but it can't be block punished. So what you can actually do here between the two is notice that they didn't press here and they blocked this. Notice that this gets blocked and then do the 3. If you notice it hits the opponent, then you can follow up with the hit confirm for Bad Jaguar 2-4. Next up, he has a low, which is +3 on hit, and on block, it is -13. He has a Power Crush in Bad Jaguar 3, but it is -13, so be careful about that. He has 1+2, the miss, the unblockable miss. Just the same as the others, it guarantees throws. They cannot break them. Be careful about using this outside of heat. Like I said before, it's very slow, and it doesn't change when you're in Bad Jaguar. It's still 35 frames. The other throws that he can do from Bad Jaguar are 1+3 for Giant Swing, and then a 2+4 throw as well. He can also do down back 1+2, which is kind of like a tackle. It high crushes and just basically leaves you both at neutral. But it does some damage and it's useful for people trying to press against you. Also from Bad Jaguar, he can do 1+2. Now this is the headbutt I talked about earlier. It is +5 on block mid. It's quite slow, but on normal hit, it guarantees a crouch throw with either down 1+3 or down 2+4. But on counter hit, this is a full launcher. Now I just want to talk about Backturn real quickly. When Armor King is in Backturn, for example, when he does 3+4 and he's in Backturn like this, there's a few things that he can do. He can do a low, just like Sidestep 2, will give him the same low, and even at 19 frames from Backturn. This also high crushes. He doesn't do anything crazy on counter hit. It's still +6. There are 3 other things that he can do, which I want to mention here. He can do 3, which is a normal hit launcher. Bear in mind that this is -14, but it is a mid, and it is pretty good from some situations. He can also do, to play it safe, he can do 4, which is a mid kick, which is -10, but there's considerable pushback, so you're probably never going to get punished here. And he can also do his classic unblockable moonsault drop, just like King from Backturned, and this will be an unblockable and knock your opponent down. Now we've changed stages because I want to talk to you guys about throws. There is a little bit here that I want to go over with you guys. I'm not going to give you literally everything about the throws because there is a lot to discover with this character in terms of different Oki setups and different things you can do at the wall. For example, I've seen a lot of Twitter clips of people doing different things at the wall. I'm going to show you all the essentials you need to know about throwing with this character and some really important Oki things you need to know about this character as well in regards to throwing your opponent. So starting off, of course, he has generic 1+3 and 2+4 throws. However, with this 2+4 throw, if you have a floor below you, you can press down 1+2 and it will change to screwdriver to break the floor. This is not hard to do. You just press down 1+2 during the throw animation and he will change the throw into a floor break throw. Upward 1+2. This breaks the floor. Also, you notice that Leo's feet are now faced towards me when I do this throw. This means that if it breaks the floor, I can combo them normally. The next throw I'm going to show you is Tombstone, which is down, back, neutral, forward, 4. This will also break the floor, but notice how Leo is now back turned towards me. I am going to show you something later about people who are back turned like that on the floor and they don't get up. There's something cool you can actually do. Of course, it wouldn't be Armor King without Shining Wizard, which is while running 2+4, so forward, 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 2+4. He has, of course, he has the Giant Swing, which we've already talked about. But if you have your back to the wall here, this does a lot more damage, just like with King. We have Hades drop, which is quarter circle back 1+2. This also breaks walls and balconies. And you can bound here as well. You also have full crouch 1+2, the tackle. You can do 1-1-1-1, 1-1-1-2, 1-2-1-2. Any combination of the 1-2 buttons, you can do 4 times. And if you want an armbar, you can do 1-1-1 and then 1+2 for the armbar. Or if you want to do the armbar straight away, you can also do that. Now for crouch throws, we've already shown you these, but down 1+3 is to break the floor. And if you want a heat engager, you'll do down 2+4. And if there's a crowd in the stage you're on, they'll go boo if you do this throw. It's kind of cool. Now for ground throws. So if your opponent is lying on the ground like this, you can do either down back 2+4 or down back 1+3. Down back 1+3 is kind of trash. Does a bit of damage, but not very much. If you do down back 2+4, this is much better. It puts the opponent back on their feet and you at +12. What this means is you can actually do back 1-2. Now, when you do back 1-2, you can also hold forward, remember, to go into bad Jaguar stance. So this at the wall becomes kind of terrifying. Because if I go to the wall here and I do something like this, oh, I missed the bound, but it's quite difficult to get that kick to actually land, and you get the reset with the bound. But as you can see, it's pretty troubling for your opponent if you use this to pick them up. Also, something interesting about that is if I'm out in the open and I hit them with this grab, if they stay on the floor like this, I can also do down back 2+4 and it will pick them up. But you notice that he's back turned when I do that. What this means is, because he is back turned, even though I'm only -12, I can still do forward 2-1. And this will give me forward 2-1. It is guaranteed. So if I do this at the wall, and he chooses not to get up correctly, you can do some pretty disgusting things. As you can see, like, it can be pretty troubling for your opponent. So don't skip out on all of this Oki stuff, because it is really the make or break for some of the match situations that you will be in. Try and take notice of how your opponent likes to move around on the floor, whether they like to tech roll, whether they like to quick stand, whether they like to spring kick and stuff like this. This can be the determining factor between you doing stomp, between you doing shoulder if they try and get up, or if they stay on the ground, you're like, get back up, bit, just my turn again. You know? So don't skip out on that. That stuff is super, super good. One of his like very strong things that he can do is his Oki game. There's some more stuff you can do with ground throws, but that would take a whole video to do. I'm just going to quickly show you chain throws quickly. You can do CD 1+3 or 2+4. And you can get some quite easy chain throws. I'm not going to show you all the chain throw links because you can see them in the command history. They're pretty decent. They're good mix-ups to do because they have to use different breaks for different chain links. Next, we're going to talk about parries. He has forward 3+4 and back 1+3. Back 1+3 is very interesting because he has this parry, which does what you'd expect, right? It's a punch parry, I should say. It's a punch parry. However, if they don't press anything and you do this parry, you can actually do something out of it. You can do 2. Now, this 2 is the same as while standing 2. It is -9, but it comes out at 17 frames, I should say. It has the same properties as while standing 2, except it's 17 frames. But it does also counter hit launch, just like the while standing 2. So what you can do is you can bait out that you're parrying, fake that you missed it, and then hit them with a while standing 2. It's very risky to do. That's very YOLO style of play, which I wouldn't do very much, but you know, as a call out or a hard read, you can do that. It's kind of a cool thing to do. It's kind of like being creative with a character, which I like. I think I like seeing that stuff. Anyway, enough about my personal takes. He has forward 3+4, which gives you the mist again. which means that you can get your guaranteed throws as long as it's below 23 frames. It's still the same thing. So that's it for parries, and we'll finish this guide with his heat moves. So if I go into heat here, there's a lot of different stuff that you can do in heat. First thing being that nearly all of your throws now are homing. That means Giant Swing, that means Shining Wizard, not Tombstone, not up forward 1+2, but you know, Hades Drop, Shining Wizard, and Giant Swing, the ones that matter are homing. Also, when he's in heat, he gets access to some new moves. He has Down Back 2-1, which is a +3 on block mid. Does take a considerable amount of the heat bar, but it's a very good move at +3. The second hit can be parried, but most people won't parry this, so you can kind of spam this, really. Does considerable chip damage. Another wall, of course, this wall splats. Next, he has Up Back 1. This now becomes +8 on block in heat, whereas it was +5 when he's not in heat. This also is a normal hit launcher now, which is kind of insane, but it is a normal hit launcher. You can do your normal combos here. Also, you can hold forward to go into Bad Jaguar here at +8. Remember that +8 is very good for Bad Jaguar. Also, in Bad Jaguar, remember that your throws are homing now. That includes Bad Jaguar. So, with people trying to step all of your Bad Jaguar stuff to the left, which is what they will try and do, especially if you do down forward 2-1 on block, they can duck the high there, but if they don't duck the high and they try and step all of your options, which they can do in this scenario, they can step everything to the left. If you're in heat, you can hit them with the homing throws. So there is something to be said there. Up Back 1+2 is okay, but it comes out of 50 frames. That's something you can do in heat. If he's not in heat, this won't really do that much. If he's not in heat, this will just knock them down. They can get back up before you can even do anything anyway. On block, this isn't anything special. It's neutral on block. So it's not that crazy, really. But it is a normal hit launcher in heat. And on block it's +8. So it's okay. Next, I want to show you the abomination that this character has, which is Bad Jaguar 3-2. Now, if you know anything about Armor King in this game, or if you've seen anything about Armor King in this game, you've definitely heard of this move, and probably seen this move as well on Twitter. He can do 3-2 from Bad Jaguar, and this is a 20-frame startup Power Crush that is +5 on block. Pretty insane. So you can do stuff like this. It can be pretty oppressive, and people don't want to step you now because of this. So it can be pretty oppressive to deal with. Also, remember that I said this would be useful. This is when it's useful. This is when it's actually useful, because you can use this Power Crush now. Let's say that your opponent is being hit by this. Now it's time to use the Power Crush, right? It is -21 or -19 or -20, but that mental frame gap that your opponent has to kind of react to you not doing the third hit will give you enough time to implement this, and they might get caught pressing and get wall splatted if they have the back to the wall. So it is good for that. Next, we have CD 1+2. This is where this actually becomes useful. It's still in the reactable range because it's 25 frames, so it is reactable, but this will catch players out, especially at beginners and intermediate ranks. This becomes a lot more useful. It is quite a gimmicky thing, and it is quite reactable. However, sometimes everything can stack up, right, mentally for your opponent. It can become a little bit like, you know, mental stack, and they don't react to it quick enough. So that is CD 1+2, or in Bad Jaguar sense, Void 1+2. And then his Heat Smash is 17 frame startup, mid at +9. And I also should have said that his Heat Smash does in fact wall break. I think that kind of covers it. I was going to do a little combo section at the end of the video. If you would like to see a different video covering combos, do let me know. There are already some combo videos out there, which is why I haven't included it in this one, because I'm assuming that you guys have probably already seen a combo video if you're watching this full guide. However, if you do want to see a combo video, do let me know in the comments. Also, if you did like the video, please do me a favor and leave a like. It did take a very long time to make this video, so I would appreciate it. And if you're new here and you want to find your way back, hit the subscribe button down below. With all that being said, have fun with the character. I hope this guide was useful to you. Also, for anybody that has any tech that I missed out in this video, please do leave it in the comment section. And when enough time has passed, I will leave all of the necessary information that I missed, because the character is quite complicated. And there's going to be a few things here and there that come out creatively, like setups and whatnot, that I would have missed in this video. I am aware of that. If and when that stuff comes out, please do leave it in the comment section and I will pin a comment with all of the information that I missed out in this guide. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, found it useful. Take care, much love guys, and I will see you in the next one.